Welcome to the Whitehall Wire. I'm your host, Megan Meyer. On this episode of the Whitehall Wire, I'll be joined by Whitehall's new Adult Resource and Engagement Specialist, Rainey Smith, who's responsible for ramping up programming for Whitehall's active older adults. After our interview, I'll dive into Council Corner and upcoming event reminders. All this and more on this episode of the Whitehall Wire. Rainey, welcome to the Whitehall Wire.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
Great. So I know that your position is a relatively new one with the city. So before we dive into all the different ways you've been ramping up programming for our older adults, can you dive into what your day in and day out looks like?
Absolutely. So typically my day in is I come in and then I start researching companies, programs, associations that will partner with us in terms of coming in and doing some programming with us or a financial resource or partnership, and then we sit down with the team and make the calendar and plan events and outings for and with our seniors.
Wonderful. And speaking of those events and outings, what are some of the staples that you've brought to the Senior Center since you've started?
So what we have are a few things. One of them is where we bring in somebody to do a presentation with a catered lunch.
Okay.
We have outings where we hop on a bus and take trips all through Ohio. And we have brought in Walk with the Doc and senior dining.
And Walk with the Doc and senior dining, those aren't necessarily at the Senior Center, but they're still open to seniors in Whitehall, right?
Correct. So senior dining is done at the YMCA, and that is for 60 plus. There is no fee.
Oh, wow.
However, there is a sign up that is required the week prior to.
Okay.
And if you have somebody coming with you, a spouse and or a caregiver that is not 60, they can eat with you as well. We just need them to sign up. And then the Walk with the Doc is open to anyone around the world. It is an international program.
Oh, cool.
And you come, that's also done at the Y, and speak with a doctor for 5 minutes, and then everybody takes a walk and continues to have conversations with the doctor.
Oh, that's wonderful. And if somebody was interested in signing up for a senior dining center, do they have to go online or can they reach out to you directly?
They can do both. They can actually come into the senior center, they can call, email, send somebody else in, and we will get them signed up.
And I heard you mention some of your day trips coming
Yes.
up. Where are you headed?
So our next trip, we are going to the Columbus Clippers. That will be in September. And then we have a few that we're not announcing just yet. Those are surprises for later on down the road.
Fun. I love that. So, I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
If I were a senior looking to get involved, where would I get started? Where would I look for program information? So
you can, again, stop in, call, email. You can hop on the website, the Whitehall website, and then you can hop on our Facebook page. If we have all of your information, we will send out a 2-month calendar that will let you know what's happening when, and that will also have all the contact information on it.
Oh, that's so simple, and I'm really glad that we have you as a resource now and that we've really seen senior programs in the community ramp up since you've started. So thanks for all you're doing, and welcome to Whitehall.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed it.
Good.
My name is Travis Snapper. I'm a graduate from the Sports Emphasis program at Ohio Media School. The experience was pretty great. It was a little bit rough because about the time that I had started Sports Emphasis, COVID was still kind of ramping up. It was a little bit hard to do some of the things we probably wanted to do, which was the same thing going through a lot of the core program that I went through. So it wasn't the easiest thing to go through because you were sometimes learning virtually, sometimes learning on campus, but we made it work, and that was the fun part, is trying to figure out different ways to make it happen and still get to do what we wanted to do. I loved hockey. I very much love hockey. I'm a big hockey fan, so getting to do a lot of the hockey broadcasts that we did was a great experience. One of the coolest parts of my life is learning from Bob McElligott, especially with commentary, getting to learn the little ins and outs and getting to commentate games with him. It was just some of the coolest experiences of my life that I've ever gotten to experience. I never imagined I would get to even call a hockey game, let alone call a hockey game with Bob McElligott. So that was definitely a special part of my learning in the Sports Emphasis program.
Welcome back to Council Corner. On August 2nd, Council considered an ordinance to add a security specialist position to the IT department. Coming up later this month, Council is considering a number of ordinances related to community reinvestment areas, or CRAs, including one amendment to allow for residential projects in the Main Street CRA to qualify for tax exemptions. Additionally, 2 proposed incentives would support mixed-use developments on Yearling Road and the northeast corner of Broad Street and Hamilton Road. Speaking of that long-awaited development, on August 16th, Council will host a public hearing related to a zoning map amendment proposed for the planned unit development, or PUD, that will guide the redevelopment of the old Woodcliff condominiums. For more specifics, find City Council meeting agendas and minutes on the city's website, as well as recordings of the meetings on the city's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Moving to upcoming events and announcements, thanks to everyone who joined us at the end of July for the Whitehall Food Truck and Fun Fest and in early August for National Night Out. Photo galleries of both events will be posted to the city's Facebook page. But just because these signature events are already behind us, it doesn't mean summertime fun is winding down. To learn about what's being planned for the community in the weeks and months ahead, we encourage you to check out the newly launched Whitehall Community Calendar. Powered by Yodel, the web app collects calendar and event information from multiple organizations throughout our community and stores them in one centralized calendar. If you're using the web app on your smartphone, you'll have the ability to save specific events and even entire org calendars right to your phone. If you missed the Food Truck Fest and wanted to see the fabulous Johnson Brothers, you still can. Join Parks and Recreation for the final Music in the Park of the season on Sunday, August 7th at the John F. LaCourte Amphitheater in John Bishop Park. That's a wrap on updates from the city. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Whitehall Wire.